Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to a special edition of Fox 8 Sports Sunday, the post-game edition, I guess you could say. I'm Darryl Green, he's Adam Norris, and we've got 30 minutes chock full of post-game coming your way. We'll have live reports from Minnesota plus downtime New Orleans. We're going to wrap up the highlights, but Adam, first of all, were you shocked to death when you turned on the pregame show this morning and saw number 34 in pads and running around?
Ricky Williams running sidestep over there. Darryl, everything that we indication earlier this week, Jim has it telling us that he was sick of talking about Ricky's condition. He wouldn't talk about it anymore until things had changed. We didn't hear anything from Jim Haslett until the injury report, which came out, which yesterday upgraded him from doubtful to questionable, thereby allowing a little sliver of light. And in fact, Ricky does play. He lines up in the fullback position for the first time back in 2 months and got some carries, Darryl, but really not a factor at all.
Not affected at all, Adam, and you had to think that the ankle was not only bothering him. There's got to be a tentativeness there that Pat Swilling had discussed so much this week. When you haven't carried the ball, you haven't taken a shot in 8 weeks, you're thinking about, oh, I don't want to fumble. I want to concentrate on making a good cut because he doesn't want to come out of the football game. You have to think that his mind was overloaded, not to mention the fact that the Vikings came out and played by far their best defensive football game of the year. They haven't shut anybody down. I mean, you and I could have run on this team before today.
They figured this game figured to be a story about the Saints defense. They were the vaunted defense. They were ranked 8th in the league. The Vikings, the 28th ranked defense, people were thinking prior to this game that Aaron Brooks would have his way with his defense. Matter of fact, they stiffened. They didn't allow much, especially with the running game. The Saints total about 71 yards in total rushing. Ricky Williams not a factor. Chad Morton with a few yards. Terry Allen getting a little bit of playing time. But this was a tough situation for Ricky to come into this game. The Vikings were obviously very excited about this. You can understand why Ricky would want to get back into the lineup, though. The Saints are winning, and he wanted to be a part of that.
Oh, you can't blame him for that. And the Saints defense, here was the stat that stood out to us. 0 sacks. They didn't touch Dante Culpepper despite the ankle. And I'm going to tell you something, ankle injury or not, he had one, 43-yard run?
He did.
He looked like a stud.
And he was amazing in that they did get some pressure on him, but the ankle injury didn't appear so bad at all. He showed a great ability to elude the rush and get the ball, throw it downfield, but really the pass rush for the Saints was not much of a factor, and that's really the strength of their defense, to stop the run and force the pass rush. Pass rush didn't get to Culpepper today, and he hurt them.
Once again, the final score in this football game, you've already seen it, and I'm sure that many are weeping right now, 34-16. Let's go ahead and take a look at the highlights. Adam, kick us off.
Dante Culpepper, first quarter, Darryl to Randy Moss. Darren Perry comes up and tries to make the play. He cannot. 53-yard touchdown pass. Vikings 7-0, getting things going on early. They would not look back, a little bobbing and weaving of their own.
Of course, the next Saints play, Aaron Brooks goes deep for Robert Brooks. He gets held. Throw the flag. Robert Wilson, I'm sorry. That sets up Doug Bryant from 33 yards out. Minnesota up 7-3 still.
Dante Culpepper not stopping there, though. He finds Chris Carter up the right sideline. The great catch down to the 2-yard line. The Vikings threatening.
But the Saints defense comes up with a big stop. They hold Minnesota to a field goal. Dante Culpepper scrambles for an eternity here. They actually wind up with an offensive pass interference call. They have to settle for 3, 10-3 Minnesota after that.
But the Saints really can't get anything going offensively. Brooks nicely avoids the rush here. He gets hit, bounces off, stays on his feet, finally finds Robert Wilson, but Wilson can't hang on to this thing, and those are the type of plays against a good team like the Vikings that they just have to make and did not today.
Dante Culpepper with a high ankle sprain, wearing a big brace on that right foot. Really? 260 pounds of pure mobility, then watch the finish. 30 yards on the run, that would set the Vikings up just fine, thank you.
Culpepper, the leading receiver on the day. 8 catches for Chris Carter, including this one. Makes the great grab over Kevin Mathis. And the replay shows us Mathis never even saw the ball, never even turned to look at the quarterback. Carter with the grab at the back of the end zone. 17-3 at the half.
Third quarter now. Randy Moss, 2 catches on the day. 2 catches, both for touchdowns. 68 yards covered on this one. Minnesota completely in control, 24-3.
The Saints in a hole, going to the no-huddle offense. Brooks to Chad Morton. Chad Morton ties a playoff record today with 12 receptions. 18 yards down to the 3-yard line.
That sets up Brooks again. Not a horrible day for Aaron Brooks, it's just the big plays didn't come enough. Dave Stahelski in the back of the end zone all alone.
Dave Stahelski's only reception of the season happens in the playoffs, and then Brooks trying to lead more. Late dramatics. Picked off by Robert Tate along the sideline at the Saints' 29-yard line.
Robert Smith, who we didn't hear from a bunch today, does get one important carry for the score of Minnesota. 34-10 at that point. Your final 34-16. A late touchdown by the Saints that turns out it really didn't matter. There are the numbers on Brooks. 30 of 49, 290 yards, Dante Culpepper, not a career day, but that's all they needed him to do. And Chris Carter, all he does is catch footballs today. He did have one touchdown, but the Vikings, again, we have to talk about the defensive structure that they brought into this football game to shut the Saints down. Now, of course, as we said, we're going to have live reports coming from Minnesota and downtown. We'll also continue to break this football game down for you. Stay with us.
I'm Claudia Coffey, live in Minneapolis. Coming up, we'll have fan reaction to a big loss, but a great winning season. That's coming up.
Fox 8 Sports Sunday is brought to you by Alltel.
Are you looking for a way to remove unnecessary stress from your life? Can a dealership sell you a car without making you feel uncomfortable? In a word, yes. At Sewell, we never have done things like everyone else. Come take a closer look at our huge selection of Chevy trucks, cars, Cadillacs, and pre-owned vehicles. And remember, the price you see is the price you get.
Come see Sewell Cadillac Chevrolet, Verona, Girard, and the CBD.
Hi, Daddy. I'm really sorry I'm not going to be able to make it home for your birthday.
I understand, honey.
But at least I can give you this. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Daddy. Happy birthday to you.
Alltel Total Freedom Plans with rates as low as $40 a month.
Head to McDonald's for our new 99-cent Real McDeals menu every day. Now there's 12 different ways to get the Real McDeal, so take your pick. How about the Zesty McRib Junior Sandwich or a 4-piece chicken McNuggets? And don't forget about dessert with your favorite shakes or sundaes. In the morning, have the Real McDeal for breakfast with our sausage biscuit or breakfast burrito. With our 12 new 99-cent Real McDeals menu available every day, it's easy to smile.
We love to see you smile.
Soon after, Fox 8 News broke the story of this 88-year-old lady left homeless from an early morning fire.
As soon as it aired on the TV, they started ringing the phone.
I would like to send a check.
People of New Orleans stepped up to help a neighbor in desperate need.
They gave us this blanket here, toothpaste and toothbrushes. It has restored my whole faith in humanity.
Breaking stories that change people's lives. Fox 8 News.
Overstating.
Welcome back to the Fox 8 Sports Lair. Today was more than just a game for the Saints fans who actually made the trip to Minneapolis. It was an adventure they'll probably remember for some time to come.
Claudia Coffey joins us now live from Minneapolis. And Claudia, we saw the game here on TV at Fox 8, but you had a different perspective.
Different perspective indeed. What was tough to take is that many of these fans paid anywhere from $700 to $1,000 just to be there. And believe it or not, they were clear up in the nosebleed section, but you know what? They were on their feet. They were cheering on the Saints. It was a tough one to take at times, but they said they're going to go home with their heads held high. Fans didn't take this game sitting down. They cheered throughout most of the game, even though there were many tough plays. They kept cheering and standing up. More than 500 loyal Saints followers made the trip to Minneapolis for the big playoff game. The fans say, win or lose, this game was worth it. Fans are still going to be behind them, though, next year, as much as they were this year?
Guarantee it. They played a great year. They had a great year.
I think they're building a lot of momentum in new fans after the season.
I'm sure you get a few bandwagon jumpers here and there, but they'll be around.
I'm sure fans, though, are thinking a lot more of them just because they had such a positive, a lot of firsts in this season, don't you think?
A lot of great firsts this year for the team. They played great. You know, they'll be back next year, and it's been a great year for them for a building year, and they'll come back next year and play good as well.
At it that way. They look at it as they had a winning season, and once they go home, they're certainly going to get a winner's welcome. Reporting live from Minneapolis, I'm Claudia Coffey, Fox 8 News. Daryl Adam, back to you.
Thank you, Claudia. $700 to $1,000 for a ticket to that football game. Shows you the loyalty of the people.
That's a hot ticket. Well, you didn't have to head north to get the full experience of this game. Our Andrew Lucas joins us from the Hard Rock Cafe. He witnessed this hard luck Saints loss. And Andrew, what was the atmosphere down there at the bar? I'm sure a little bit of a glum atmosphere, I would think.
Well, you were down at the House of Blues, guys.
You know, they made a loss today, but, well, Saints fans are still pretty happy about how things went today. House of Blues just packed earlier today, and as one person said, this is our Super Bowl today. The regular Saints fans were out, all the characters, but by the fourth quarter, the energy, it was drained out, and by the fourth quarter, people knew it was going to happen, but they're still looking at next year. All right, hang on a second.
Everything that's happened has been a learning experience so far, and I think that if we can just come back and keep the same pace that we had all year this year, we can be great. And like I said, it's a heartbreaker, but you never know what will happen next.
A little depressed right now, but it's been fun.
You look like you might almost be on the verge of tears.
No, not that bad, but no, it's been awesome. It has. Great year.
Didn't go our way, but been a great season. Look out next year, Super Bowl.
I think they gave us an extra season that we didn't expect. What went down this year, it's a shame we had to lose it, but now it's time to focus on keeping this team in town.
So the Saints may have lost today, but what do you guys think? Fans are still happy, just happy the way the season went. A couple of people we talked to said Saints are getting back in at 7 tonight at General Aviation. They say they're going to be out there to welcome the team back to New Orleans for what was a great season. Live at the House of Blues, Andrew Lucas, Fox 8 and Coop. Back to you guys.
Andrew, thank you so much. We'll hear from Andrew at the House of Blues coming up later in the show.
Obviously, the spirit's not too dampened out there quite yet. A little hope for next year, certainly a lot of hope. Today, the national media confirming what we already knew here to be true in New Orleans. Jim Haslett, a master strategist and motivator, and today he is named the Associated Press NFL Coach of the Year. The voting wasn't even close. Haslett garnering 30.5 votes to just 9.5 for Philadelphia's Andy Reid. We know the tale well. In his first year as head coach, Haslett and his brand new coaching staff transforming a 3-13 bunch into a 10-6 division champion. Haslett and general manager Randy Mueller engaging in a free agent shopping spree that netted players like Jeff Blake, Joe Horn, Norman Hand, and Darren Perry. Haslett is the second Saints coach to win the award. Jim Mora won it back in 1987.
That bodes well considering the success of playoff runs that Jim Mora was able to spring forward. And you saw Haslett, and I think we'll show you this later in the show as well, got fired up today, did he not?
He did. He got on the ref's case a little bit, and he got into a little bit of some verbal sparring with Chris Carter. He still has that fire. I think it's what the players respect about him and what the fans like about him as well, Darryl.
Did quite the job.
Coming up, it's time to break down the finer points of this game. We'll shine our first spotlight on today's game. That's coming up next in the special edition. Stay with us.
Strohmeyer has Ashley Sandstone 4-post bed, just $4.99. Other pieces also sale price. Free setup and delivery with Strohmeyer.
Get great food anytime at Russell's Marina Grill. Open daily for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Russell's Marina Grill, a West End tradition.
Let the professionals at Clean Fleet Auto Body restore your vehicle to its pre-accident condition and handle your insurance claim. Call Clean Fleet.
Why buy a new car if all you need is a motor? Let Pro Engine Sales install a remanufactured engine in your car. Call Pro Engine Sales.
On a rainy night in 1991, an accident killed a young girl. Her parents donated her organs. Jackie Manrose got her liver. Jackie's the one on the left.
Sign up to be an organ and tissue donor. To the people you're helping, you'll be the MVP, the most valuable person.
We've received over 500,000 pounds of food from Second Harvester. We don't know how we would have made it without an agency like this that can help us in securing food to feed the hungry. Many, many people, thousands of people eat every day from some food that has been picked up from Second Harvester.
Over 8 million pounds of food was distributed to 350 programs, soup kitchens, and charities that feed the needy.
It's volunteers at Second Harvester's Food Bank that make this all work. Last year, we averaged about 600 volunteers per month.
The best thing any individual can do in their life is to love and to give of themselves to people. There's no joy that you can ever experience other than giving.
Working together can make good things happen for the New Orleans area.
And we thank God for Second Harvester. They are giving people.
At Entergy, we help support those who follow their hearts in helping others.
Welcome back, everyone. Time to get into the breakdown of today's breakdowns, if you will. Our first spotlight, we shine on the Saints not helping themselves with missed opportunities. You have to take advantage of situations when you're presented with gifts. That's the subject of our first spotlight. Second quarter, Brooks scrambling, stays alive. Robert Wilson, though, just as we said in the highlights, Brooks did a heck of a job, Adam, staying alive, but then the gut, you have to catch those balls in the NFL.
That's that mobility that is such a prized asset, and Wilson, unfortunately, couldn't hang on to the ball. Then we have Dante Culpepper, nearly picked off by Alex Molden. Molden makes a great break on the ball, actually the ball hit him in both hands. He would have had a clear path to the end zone, but he couldn't make the play. A difficult play, but still, the type of plays that need to be made if they wanted to win this game.
And the thing about it, Jim Haslett and the other 30 coaches in the NFL of today, the other 400 guys who have done it before will tell you time in and time out, you have to take advantage of those opportunities simply because 2 to 3 plays can make an entire football game. And you never know the kind of tide that can be turned with a pickoff, with something like that. And we've seen it so many times just with the Saints. Now, enough of that babble. Let's go ahead and take a look at the final stats. Here's how the numbers stacked up. They weren't really pretty for the guys with the fleur-de-lis on their helmet. Total net yards, well, the Vikings almost 100 better. Rushing yards, again, Adam, the Saints not able to establish a run game. That was important.
That was difficult for them offensively. And then the defensive side of the ball, they did a good job keeping Robert Smith under wraps. We'll get into that in a minute. He got his yards mostly late in the game, but with the passing yards, Aaron Brooks, he threw the ball 49 times. Anytime you're that one-dimensional, that makes things difficult for the offense to work effectively.
Turnover is probably the stat that sticks out most. 2-0. The Vikings easily win that battle. Again, these stats are completely unofficial. They were compiled by our expert research staff headed up by Jeff Shepard.
We have a giant abacus in the back, and that's what we rely on mostly for that. Now, for our second spotlight, we take a look at how the Saints were able to defend or not defend Robert Smith, the top rusher in the NFC. The Vikings did manage 17 first-half points, but not because of Robert Smith, what he did. Just 10 carries in the first half for 16 yards. You see the Saints' defensive line getting great penetration, and Smith not a factor in this game, which is so disheartening, Darryl, because they were still able to score even though they didn't have much of a run game.
Well, they knew coming in if they shut down the run, they would have an opportunity, but they said they needed to shut down the run plus get pressure on Dante Culpepper. Half of the equation doesn't give you a whole answer. Obviously, Robert Smith, not a complete factor with the exception of one 30-yard carry and one 2-yard touchdown.
The final numbers on Mr. Smith, 25 carries, 74 yards, but again, Culpepper, Moss, Carter, those are the guns that hurt them.
It's a culmination. Let's head north again now and join Claudia Coffey. Claudia, you know, the fans, like you said before, they can't be too disheartened because we weren't supposed to be here anyway.
You know what? They're excited regardless. A lot of the fans that I spoke with, they said, you know what? We can always look to next year. But it kind of sounds a little bit different. You know, they had such a great season. These fans are really, really keeping their heads high. A few of them are still hanging out, actually. You know, I talked to you guys throughout the game, through the tough plays, through the good plays. What do you think?
Little sad that we lost, but we played a great game. They played their hearts out, and Jim Haslett has done something that no one has ever done before. He won a playoff game for the Saints, and so we're going with him. We're behind him, and we'll be back.
Go Jim Haslett, Coach of the Year. That's right. That's right.
What a great winning season. I know many fans were saying it's been such a great winning season. This really doesn't even feel like a loss because the Saints have just come so far.
We feel so good just getting here. We feel great.
It's been a heck of a
Woo! Go Saints! We love you!
Also have Darren Howard's mom here. Yeah. Have you had a chance to talk to your son yet?
Not yet. I'm on my way down there now to try to find him.
What will you say to him?
I'll say congratulations on a great season. I'm proud of you. Love you, as always.
What kind of welcome do you think the Saints are going to get when they come home?
I'm sure everybody will be happy just that they got here. So they'll be behind them anyway, win or lose. So.
These are the new Saints. That's right, new Saints.
There you go. They are the new Saints. I also had a chance to talk with some other fans that are especially close to the players. Here's what they had to say.
I still think they've had a great season. And I think the coach has done a tremendous job along with Mr. Benson and the organization. And we can only build from here.
Great. I still feel great. We make it this far. Hey, what?
And there you go. The Saints are still marching in. The fans are still happy. Even though they lost, they said they want to hang there. They want to keep their heads high, and they say it's a great winning season, and they're proud, and certainly will give the Saints a big welcome home. Reporting live in Minneapolis, I'm Claudia Coffey, Fox 8 News. Back to you.
Thanks very much, Claudia. It looks like we have some hopeful fans out there, a lot of optimism. Those two last individuals who we saw there, relatives of Sammy Knight and Norman Hand, obviously proud of their nephews and sons and what they've been able to do. And also a reminder to everyone, the team gets in tonight, 7 o'clock at General Aviation at New Orleans International Airport if you want to go out and welcome the boys back home.
Definitely. All right, guys, time to take a break. When we come back, I thought it was Chris Carter who was the only one who caught touchdowns every time he caught the ball. We'll break down Randy Moss's big day. Stay with us. This special post-game edition of Fox 8 Sports Sunday moves along.
I'm a child care director. In the summer, I drive buses and vans. We have a blast on these field trips. It's just as much fun for me as it is for them. Parents are entrusting me with the safety of their children. We have to make sure we keep great tires on the van. We trust Walmart to service our vehicle. They have name brand tires and they have great prices, and I guarantee nationwide. That's one reason we bought them.
Brand name tires, oil changes, and more at Walmart Tire and Lube Express.
Because it's pretty precious cargo.
Yeah, okay. I'll call you back.
Freedom, freedom. It's a wonderful thing when you have freedom. Freedom, freedom. This whole world's talking about freedom.
Alltel Total Freedom Plans, helping you stay connected.
This Wednesday.
What have I taught you about sharing?
Nothing.
Fox presents a new comedy.
Oh, yeah! It's a crazy maniac.
It's my dad.
About the art.
I didn't know what else to do. How is throwing chicken even an option?
Of raising parents.
From now on, I'm going to associate sex with having fried food hurled at me.
How'd you like your own phone line?
That'd work.
Introducing Grounded for Life.
That's not how I would have handled it. How would you have handled it? I wouldn't have had kids.
Wednesday night at 7:30.
Fox Wednesday. 4 unmarried couples are about to put their long-term relationships to the ultimate test.
Welcome to Temptation Island.
Have they really found their partner for life?
This is the determining factor if we're going to stay together or not.
Or will they give in to temptation?
It's better to know other than staying in a relationship that's not meant to be.
Temptation Island.
This could rip two people apart.
Where only true love can survive.
Wednesday night at 8, only on Fox 8. Get the lowdown on next week's game during Last Call on Sports Sunday. Sunday night at 9:30 on Fox 8. Brought to you by Crown Royal.
Fox 8 Sports Sunday has been brought to you by Alltel.
Time for us to break out our giant Fox 8 Sports spotlight again and shine it brightly on Randy Moss, who only touched the ball 2 times today, but certainly did a lot with it, particularly this third quarter touchdown run showing why he's the greatest show on turf. Check this out. On the short route, the safety crawls up, Darryl. He makes a reception, and then it's just too late. He only needs a sliver of daylight, and he's gone.
Well, it wasn't play action, Adam, but it looked like he read run. It looked like Darren Perry read run because of the angle the fullback and the tailback took off the play. Looked like they may have been going off tackle. Next thing you know, it's Randy Moss outside behind the line of scrimmage. Those tackles release. He's downfield, and bada bing, bada boom, he's in the end zone.
For a lot of people, that angle was good enough to tackle Randy Moss, but not when you have the kind of speed that Moss does.
You're not kidding. Here are the final stats. These are Saints only. You saw Brooks' numbers earlier. 5 of 32 for a 6.4-yard average as far as rushing goes, and it's no good when your quarterback is your leading rusher. Passing, of course, there's Brooks' numbers. 30 of 49 for 290. Ricky, 6 total attempts, averaging only 2.3. It's going to be interesting to see exactly what he says coming out of this football game.
Saints
coming
run
up
game
later.
Just not a factor. Aaron Brooks throws the ball 49 times, 2 touchdown passes, but also those 2 picks.
No effective yardage. That was the thing.
Not a lot. Not a lot. Let's head back out to Andrew Lucas, who is at the House of Blues, I believe. Andrew, some final thoughts from the crew down there.
Well, the crew down here is they're actually getting ready to go party some more. But let me ask you guys some questions. What do you think of the game today?
I think it was pretty good. Gave up too many big plays. Next year, we get rid of, get some of the injuries back. Everybody get back healthy. I think we could do okay next year.
Yeah.
Super Bowl, New Orleans, hometown, home field advantage. I think we're doing good.
So does the fact that we lost today but had a good season make up for it, make you at least feel a little bit better about the whole thing?
Great season. I think coming up here, driving up here, we listened to the radio, looking at pick last, next to last. We come out, third, fourth NFC? I think you can't get no better than that.
Absolutely. Not the only person to mention Super Bowls here next year. Hopefully the Saints will do that. Eight Sports. Back to you guys.
Andrew, thanks so much. Tell all those folks we all said hey. And by the way, we are not done with football here on Fox 8. Coming up tomorrow here on Fox 8, the divisional playoffs continue. The Giants and the Eagles going at it in the other game, if you will, besides this one. Of course, Philly wiped out Tampa Bay last weekend at Veterans Stadium to take another step forward. The Eagles are the underdog here. They've lost 8 in a row to New York, including both meetings with the Giants this season.
Unfortunately, we've lost 2 games to the Giants. But now there's an opportunity for us to go out there. We got a chance to see him play. We played them twice, and that just gives us more experience and to learn from our mistakes. They're playing a lot better ball. McNabb's making a lot wiser decisions out there on the field, and, you know, it's going to be difficult for us to beat them.
Not a special edition, our regular edition of Fox 8 Sports Sunday will be tomorrow on Sunday. Today is Saturday. Pat Swilling will join us. Joe will be back from Minneapolis. A lot to talk about after today and after this season, Darryl.
Folks, we would like to thank you for watching the football game today. Joining us here in the post-game edition for Claudia Coffey, Andrew Lucas, Adam Norris, I'm Darryl Green. We'll see you tonight at 9 o'clock. Fox 8 News at 9 and 10. Till then, bye-bye.
You know what's tied in? Andrew Glover, once a Minnesota Viking, in fact played 6 playoff games with the Minnesota Vikings, but today didn't get that coveted victory against his old team. After the loss, he talked about the game.
Andrew, certainly this offense never really got into the kind of rhythm that you wanted to today.
No, we didn't. I think when we got down on the scoreboard, we went out flat, you know, our first couple series, and we let the Vikings come out and get a good start on us, and they went up. They went up on us, and you know, we couldn't really do what we've been doing to be successful during the course of the year, which is have a balanced attack, running and throwing the football. We ended up, you know, being in a situation where we had to throw the ball and try to catch up from behind.
How painful was it to be a Saint and watch Moss and Carter have the kind of days they did?
It was disappointing, but I know those guys are great players. Great players make great plays. They did a terrific job today. They've been off, and they didn't show any signs of being flat. I mean, they came out, and they established themselves early, and they took that and ran with it.
You've been in the league long enough to see some teams grow. Tell me about this organization and this team you're on and what its future is.
It's unbelievable. It is unbelievable to go from 3-13 to NFC West champions. This team has a great deal of pride. Mr. Benson did, you know, a terrific job in the offseason, reorganizing the organizational infrastructure, bringing some people in that had experience, bringing some veterans in, and a mix of, you know, good young talent. And I think the future is bright for this organization and this football team. I think we're in, you know, uncharted waters today, you know, being in the second round of the playoffs. And we didn't play like we had been there before. And I think Minnesota played like they had been there before.
The Vikings certainly with experience today. We'll have more when we return live from Minneapolis. Jim Henderson will join in to talk about the end of that successful run. And Josh McKelvin with the Black and Gold faithful. Stay with us.
It's nothing I haven't been doing, you know, since I've gotten here since my rookie year. So, you know, it's not a really big deal to me. I think the only thing that I'm really, you know, satisfied and I can be relieved about is a victory. You know, I think we stressed all week about how important this game is and our intensity level. You know, how we got to come about, you know, bringing intensity to them because we knew they had a hellacious defense.
Channel 4 Sports Director Jim Henderson joining us now. Certainly 1987 season was magical because it was a first. And certainly this year was special for very few expected it. Ironically, both ended at the hands of the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, and back in '87, that sort of began the golden era of Saints football. They went to the playoffs 4 times in 6 years, and it was really a great time. But you get the feeling with their return to the playoffs this year, they're really on the verge of something bigger and better. The party's over, and that's always sad for New Orleans. But at least the Saints got invited for a change.
I hate to see it end like this, but, you know,